Rebekah Vardy, 40, claimed that the Agatha Christie drama has had a negative effect on her career and she has lost work as a result. Mrs. Vardy is now suing Coleen Rooney for libel after the latter accused her Instagram account of leaking personal stories to the press. Mrs. Vardy says that she had a potential book deal lined up which has now been turned down. She also claims that a midwife company was going to make placenta pills for her after the birth of her fifth child, Olivia. In a now-released witness statement, Mrs. Vardy claimed, "I had a midwife company lined up to make placenta capsules and they pulled out weeks before the birth," as reported by the Daily Mirror. The documents were released yesterday after agreement from lawyers on both sides of the case. Evidence included texts between Mrs. Vardy and her husband, Jamie Vardy. Screenshots of the messages saw Mrs. Vardy complain that she was being made a scapegoat during Euro 2016 and that news coverage made her blood boil. In June 2016, Mrs. Vardy shared an article link with her husband that reported that Wayne Rooney had held talks with Mr. Vardy about his wife. "Seriously?" Mrs. Vardy messaged her husband. He then replied, "No, not at all, babes X. TS trying to make me into a scapegoat X," Mrs. Vardy said, with Mr. Vardy responding, "Fuck Gia SX." Mrs. Vardy shared another article with the headline, "Wayne Rooney asks Jamie Vardy to make sure his wife lowers her social media profile during Euros." She commented, "Jesus. This must have come from somewhere. Haha, no one said a word, probably the BLYFA," Mr. Vardy replied. Mrs. Vardy said, "Joke makes my blood boil X." A series of posts from Coleen Rooney's private Instagram between 2017 and 2019 were also released. They include a post celebrating her husband's birthday and another of Mr. Rooney and 3 of their sons in pajamas in bed. The mother of 4 claims that an article, later published in The Sun, referenced the 2 posts, including quoting the so-called birthday post word for word. The 7-day trial at London's High Court concluded on Thursday. Both women gave evidence and Mrs. Justice Stein is due to give her ruling at a later date.